Welcome back to Tech Garage, presented by Advance Auto Parts. Now, before we finish up our transmission service, I wanted to get the transfer case draining underway, so that's working for us. Here we go, drain plug is out. I'll set it up here, make sure we're not going to have any spills. Now, what I want you to see up here at the transmission pan is how much cleaner it is. Remember how filthy and dirty that was? It looks brand new. You can see the magnet in the corner, very clean. Brake clean, a little bit of time, a little bit of a cookie around the edge, got that flange really clean. And this is the new gasket. Now, resist the temptation to use RTV or something else here. That's a big no-no. Chief Tech Chase says use the mounting bolts, get the new gasket down over it, grab a shoulder of a thread right there, and it holds it right in place. It actually works really, really well. But before we put the pan back up, we have to reinstall one of the two new filters. Now, this only goes in one way. There's a mounting bolt with an 8mm bolt. Calls for 40 inch-pounds of torque. You got to get that right. You got to honor it. There's also a new cartridge filter up in here. Here's the old one. That called for 80 inch-pounds of torque. We've got that all set. Before I button it up, I like one final visual inspection of the valve body. I like to clean this flange and wipe it down all the way around. Very clean. Transmission dipsticks right here. No obvious damage. I think we're in pretty good shape with this tranny. So I'm going to go ahead and get the filter in, finish this up, and then move back and finish up the transfer case, which, as promised, is a mighty complex system unto itself. And John's going to explain how that works.
The hows and the whys. How does the transfer case work, and why are we servicing it? Well, we happen to have an old transfer case laying around, so we went ahead and separated it. So you can take a look inside. Now the transmission's bolting right up to this side, and then it just transfers its power clean through it. It's actually going through this shaft, and watch this. I can hold this right here and spin it. And what's going on is, this is spinning, and it's actually driving all the way through to the output shaft and driving the rear wheels. Now, if you want to engage it into four-wheel drive, you simply just hit a lever. The fork's going to go ahead and hit this shift mechanism. It's going to kick it over. But the key here is this brass blocker ring. This brass blocker ring allows that gear to get up to speed by actually spinning and wearing a little bit, so those gears will mesh. Now, once those gears mesh, now I drive it. You see the change driving? Well, what's going on now? It's transferring the energy all the way up to the front to my front wheels for four-wheel drive. So why are we servicing it? Well, number one, the brass blocker ring. I'm getting some metal in there every time I engage it. I have a chain slinging around here. Brian said it was complex. Here it is. We also have some bearings. We have some front bearings, some rear bearings. There's a lot going on inside of here, and that lubrication is key. Now, Brian's about got it serviced over there. Let's check in with him.
There we go. You want this bottom plug in the transfer case pretty snug. A lot of complexity in there, isn't there? Okay, so when you go to refill it, make sure you understand the type of ATF that's required and the amount. In this case, we checked with MotoLogic. It's 2.2 quarts. Couple ways to go about that because you want the right amount in there. You can pre-measure it in a canister, 2.2-ish quarts, use an old hand pump, go in the old-fashioned way. Mighty Vac has made this a lot easier. If you're doing differentials, transfer cases, transmissions, any type of hydraulic fluid exchange, this is a great tool to have around the shop. It's very simple. Now, a lot of people stress over exactly how much is the right amount. Well, it's good to know the spec, but it's also completely appropriate to pump it till it comes right up to the edge of the filler hole and starts to seep back out across the threads. That's not too much, but it is enough. This makes it so much easier. All right, I'm going to take my time, get this right, get the right amount in our transmission, and transfer case service will be all done. Next step, get the truck down, refill the transmission fluid. There's a process to that. You want to do that right, and of course we do that from the top. The right fluid and the right amount. You got to make sure you get this part right. Now we're topping it off with our Castrol ATF Plus 4. We checked the owner's manual. It requires 6 quarts. That's number 6. John, I think we're looking pretty good up here.
Yeah, and that's key, the right amount of fluid and how much fluid you're using. Now, Brian, once you get that topped off, there's also a procedure you want to go through. You remember that valve body earlier? We want to make sure that the fluid's going all through there. We got Chief Tech Chase in the car. Go ahead, crank it up, and let's run it through the gears. It's just going to put it in reverse, put it in drive, drop it down in low, then come on back and put it in drive again, park, reverse, and then park it. That's good. Just follow your service manual. That's going to run the fluid all the way through. Make your second check. How's it looking, Brian?
And one more check.
There you go. All right, take another check. And of course, you want to get it hot, get it to temperature.
Looks great.
You're
Right
right on
there.
the money. Now make sure you take it on a test drive. Come on back, do a second inspection. We're going to take ours on a test drive, and I'm going to lock this thing into 4-wheel drive, run some of that fluid through that transfer case. That's going to be a lot of fun. But you know what? You don't want to miss it. Make sure you come back because we're bringing back the RSX Resurrection Project. And remember the headers and the exhaust, you're going to want to miss this one. You want to hear it run. We'll be right back with more Tech Garage presented by Advance Auto Parts.